Episode 121, Sunshine. Don't scare me. Serena did not have class the next morning, so she did not set an alarm. When she woke up, it was past 9 a.m. Opening her eyes, Serena saw Jake's stunning face and flawless skin. His arm was still laid across her body, so she felt a bit sore. Serena carefully moved aside and lifted his arm up. However, when she was about to put his arm away, it suddenly slipped and took her waist. Jake tightened his embrace around Serena. Serena did not even have any time to feel surprised before her lips were sealed, which made her immediately wide awake.
"You're awake?"
Jake's voice was a bit husky, sounding like he was still half asleep. Seeing Serena's sexy look, Jake brushed the hair away from her face and said,
"I was too tired yesterday. But now..."
His hand slipped down her cheek and easily parted her silk robe. Serena was fully prepared last night, so she was not wearing any underwear. With a shudder, her sensitive body immediately curled up.
"Don't be scared."
Jake got over her and planted a kiss on the corner of her lips.
"I will be gentle."
Serena blushed again. Looking at him, she was suddenly reminded of a finding. Men feel the horniest in the morning. His rough hand slipped down from her face to her neck and collarbone. Serena could not help shuddering. Looking up, she caught a glimpse of the lust in his eyes. His always cold eyes were burning with passion and desire, as if he had seen his prey. Under his gaze, Serena wished she had somewhere to hide. She blushed and turned her head away, whispering, "Don't look at me like that." Her voice unbelievably sensual. She was startled by her own voice. Was that really her voice? Why did it sound like she was intentionally seducing him? Jake's eyes became dark. He stopped teasing her, chuckled, and planted numerous kisses on her face and neck. As his lips moved down, Serena felt tortured by a sudden emptiness. Lifting her legs, she wrapped them around his waist. Her robe was parted. Serena could feel his rough hands caressing her back, giving her goosebumps. It felt excruciating, but Serena could not tell what she was feeling. Squirming, she looked at him with pleading eyes and whispered, "Mr. Robinson." Jake paused, leaned against her, and asked in a dangerous tone,
"What did you just call me?"
Serena knew that she had made a mistake. However, it had been a habit of hers to call him that for years. Under his gaze, she eventually called, "Darling?"
"Yes?"
Jake smiled contently. "I need you." Jake moved his hand down, finding her passion betrayed by the wetness between her legs. The phone that Serena put on her nightstand rang. Serena reached for her phone, despite her bashfulness. However, a sudden pain that almost ripped her apart made her let out a scream and put her hand down. She immediately grabbed his shoulders as tears welled in her eyes. Cringing, Serena wanted to move away and push him off her, whispering, "It hurts." Jake held her in place with his legs and sealed her lips with his, stopping her complaint. He deepened his kiss, plunging his tongue into her mouth. Serena felt his rising body temperature against her skin, and the pulsation of his shaft deep inside her. Her heart became incredibly tender. It was him, Jake Robinson. She was finally together with him. Last lifetime, she had coveted this man for so many years, but he had never cast so much as an affectionate glance at her. However, now, with tears in her eyes, Serena hugged him tightly, unwilling to let go. Tasting her salty and bitter tears, Jake looked up and kissed them away, whispering,
"Does it still hurt?"
Yes. Serena was almost about to burst into tears, because she had never felt this kind of pain before. Last time, she had sex with him under the influence of Lila Cox's drug. However, being completely sober, she felt all the pain. Serena looked at Jake and saw clearly that he was holding back. Gritting his teeth, he had sweat on his forehead. Serena worried about him and felt sweet at the same time. Holding him tighter, she kissed him, telling him to answer silently. Jake let out a sigh of relief. Holding her hand, he kissed her back passionately. Serena's phone rang again, which was the second time. Very few people knew Serena's number, so it could only be among those people. Serena turned her head away and said while panting, "Give me the phone, will you?" Jake was a bit reluctant, but still retrieved her phone. With a glance, her face immediately dimmed. Henry Miller.
"Don't take it."
Jake rejected the call, placing the phone to the side. Serena bit her bottom lip, looking at the ringing phone. When the phone rang the third time, Jake almost smashed it. "What if he has an emergency?" Serena exclaimed. Jake's face darkened as he took the call and put it on speaker.
"Hi, Sunshine. I heard something happened last night. Are you okay?"
"Yes. Ah!" Serena let out a cry, which Henry heard clearly. Serena realized it and immediately shut her mouth. However, the sweet sensation between her legs almost smashed her self-control. Henry heard it and felt something was wrong, asking,
"What's wrong, Sunshine? Did something else happen?"
Serena wanted to respond, but Jake's moves became more and more intense. Biting her lip, Serena arched her back and held Jake tight, her nails digging into his flesh.
"Sunshine?"
Henry panicked and sat up on the sickbed.
"Don't scare me, all right? Hello?"
Jake continued hammering her and whispered into Serena's ear,
"Tell him what you're doing."
Serena gritted her teeth, her body jerking. The king bed swayed slightly with their moves. Clearly hearing the man's panting, which he did not try to hold back at all, Henry felt he was about to be driven crazy. Feeling ominous, he exclaimed,
"Sunshine? Where are you? I'll go look for you. Talk to me."
Hearing his voice, Serena knew that Henry had gotten the wrong idea. Biting her bottom lip, Serena wanted to speak. However, the man on top of her was accelerating, moving so fast that he could not make a sound.
"Sunshine!"
Henry had pulled out the needle of the IV drip on his hand. Without even putting his shoes on, he got out of the bed and quickly ran to the door. A young nurse saw him and quickly stopped him. "Sir, you cannot go anywhere. You have not recovered." Serena heard that and knew what was going on. She wanted to speak, but the moment she opened her mouth, she couldn't help moaning into the speaker. Henry became silent. Serena said while panting, "I'm all right." Henry Miller did not say anything. Jake Robinson smiled contently, hung up, turned the phone off, and tossed it onto the nightstand, moving his hips faster and faster. Without the disturbance, Jake put her on top of him. Planting wet kisses on her neck, he said huskily,
"Don't hold back. I want to hear you."
This position gave him deep access, and Serena was about to tear up. She quickly explained, "It hurts! Pull it out!" Jake lifted Serena up a bit and warned,
"If it hurts, let me hear you."
Serena couldn't help letting out the moaning which made herself blush. Encouraged, Jake got on top of her, putting her legs on his shoulders, and fucked her senseless. Seeing how helpless Serena had become, Jake could not help thinking of Henry Miller, the caring phone call she had just received, and that photo someone had sent to him in Moscow. Although Lila Cox was trying to set Serena up with that video, it would be impossible for her to get so much evidence if Serena had not been so close to Henry in the first place. The facts cut deep, but they also drove him to plow harder. Serena screamed and tightened her grip on the man's back, her mind completely blank. Then he purred into her ear.
"If Henry Miller was doing this to you, would you react the same way?"
His voice was deep and dark, with undeniable jealousy. Serena opened her eyes wide. However, before she caught a glimpse of his expression, he seized her lips with his, and the flames continued to burn.